it's Brittany and welcome back to Brittyween 2021. Today I am Rick Grimes, which I think is very appropriate with what this video topic is about today. Now, it's not about the apocalypse or zombies. Oh my god, are you guys ready for this? This is one of the scariest situations ever, and it's a true story in New Jersey. Imagine moving into your dream home. You're so freaking excited. It's just perfect. You're married, maybe you have kids, maybe you're not married, maybe you're single, whatever. Whatever you are happy with in your reality, and you're just living your best life and you move into your dream home, but then you start receiving these threatening, odd, strange, mysterious letters from somebody that calls themselves the Watcher. Almost like the creeper from Jeepers Creepers, I swear to God. This is a true story. This is what happened to a couple that moved into their dream home. They were super excited, and these letters started coming in out of nowhere. Derek and Maria Broaddus bought their home in Westfield, New Jersey in 2014. So Maria and Derek were doing some renovations on the home right before they moved in, and that is when they received their first letter from the Watcher. Derek went to check the mail and, wasn't really expecting much because they haven't officially moved in. They were just doing renovations. So when he opened up the mailbox, there was a white envelope in there. It was addressed in thick, clunky handwriting to the new owner. Y'all ready for the first one? Dearest new neighbor at 657 Boulevard, allow me to welcome you to the neighborhood. 657 Boulevard has been the subject of my family for decades now, and as it approaches its 110th birthday, I have been put in charge of watching and waiting for its second coming. My grandfather watched the house in the 1920s, and my father watched in the 1960s. It is now my time. Do you know the history of the house? Do you know what lies within the walls of 657 Boulevard? Why are you here? I will find out. Like, what the heck? So I guess when you first receive a letter like that, you may just kind of play it off like, okay, maybe it's just a bunch of random kids or something. This is the way to welcome us to the neighborhood in some really weird, disturbing way. But no. And also, this couple had 3 young children. And this Watcher, creep, psycho freak, he was very aware of them. He also referred to their 3 young children as young blood. From what the Watcher was sending them next, I don't think he liked how they were renovating the home. So the Watcher then said, I see already that you have flooded 657 Boulevard with contractors so that you can destroy the house as it was supposed to be. Bad move. You don't want to make 657 Boulevard unhappy. Now this is when it gets into the kids and the Watcher just being like a total psycho freak. So earlier that week, Derek and Maria went to the house as their kids were just like running all over the backyard and stuff, and they were talking to their new neighbors. And their kids were young kids. They were 5, 8, and 10, and they were just running around with the neighborhood kids, having fun, and the Watcher noticed that. This is what the next letter said. You have children. I have seen them. So far, I think there are 3 that I have counted. Do you need to fill the house with the young blood I requested? Better for me. Was your old house too small for the growing family, or was it greed to bring me your children? Once I know their names, I will call to them and draw them to me. He even asked them if there was more on the way. More children on the way. And keep in mind too, there was no return address on these letters. Who am I? There are hundreds and hundreds of cars that drive by 657 Boulevard each day. Maybe I am in one. Look at all the windows you can see from 657 Boulevard. Maybe I am in one. Look out any of the many windows in 657 Boulevard at all the people who stroll by each day. Maybe I am one. Welcome, my friends. Welcome. Let the party begin. And then he signs it, the Watcher. So that's when, of course, Maria and Derek were freaked the f out. They turned off all the lights in the house because they didn't want this freak, the Watcher, since clearly he's watching them 24/7, to see them and his family in the house. He didn't want them to see anybody or anything going on in the house. I mean, this freak could have been inside the house. I just got chills thinking about that. And that is when Derek called the police, and the police came to the house. He showed them the letters, They were so confused and asking Derek, well, do you have enemies? Is there somebody that's been threatening you in the past? That night, Derek and Maria wrote an email to John and Andrea Woods, the couple who sold them 657 Boulevard, to ask if they have any idea who the Watcher might be or why he or she had written, I asked the Woods to bring me young blood, and it looks like they listened. And it turns out, a few days before the previous owners moved out, they received a letter from the Watcher. She said that the note had been odd and made similar mention of the Watcher's family observing the house over time, but Andrea said she and her husband had never received anything like that in their 23 years in the house that they lived there. Like, what in the hell? So the police wanted this to kind of be a secret between the two couples, like the two families. They didn't want the neighbors around to know about the letters because they were suspects. They could have been the ones writing it. They didn't want the neighbors to know anything. So from then on, the family were on high alert, constantly looking over their shoulder to see if anybody was watching them from a car or a window or even their neighbors. And I read there was actually a neighbor that said to Derek's face, it would be nice to have some young blood in the neighborhood. And that's exactly how the Watcher has been referring to Derek and Maria's kids. Coincidence? Like what? It was a woman who said it too. There was also a sign that was hammered into the front yard by one of the contractors, and it was ripped out, completely ripped out overnight. So who else would it be? The damn Watcher. Maria stopped by the house to look at some paint samples and to check the mail. And as soon as she opened up the mailbox, she noticed right away that thick black lettering on a card-shaped envelope, and then she called the police, of course. This time it said, "Welcome again to your new home at 657 Boulevard. The workers have been busy and I have been watching you unload carfuls of your personal belongings. The dumpster is a nice touch. Have they found what is in the walls yet? In time they will." The Watcher was going on about having learned a lot about the family in the preceding weeks, especially about their children. The letter even identified the 3 kids by birth order and by their nicknames. The Watcher then wrote, "I am pleased to know your names now and the name of the young blood you have brought to me. You certainly say their names often. I swear to God, if that happened to me, God forbid. I mean, like, you say you're gonna do this and do that, but if you were really in the moment, you'd be freaked out. But if I was getting those letters, I would be outside 24/7 watching every single person and questioning them. I don't give a shit if I seem like a psycho bitch. I want to know who the Watcher is. And especially when your kids are involved and he knows their nicknames and he knows their names and their birthdays and information about them, where he would have to be up close and personal to hear the conversations. So Derek and Maria stopped bringing their kids to the house. So then several weeks later, they received a letter that said, "Where have you gone to? 657 Boulevard is missing you." This was just getting so out of hand. They were hiring private investigators. They were keeping tabs on all of the neighbors. They were suspicious of some neighbors because some were kind of odd. They even hired an FBI agent, just everybody. Like, who the hell is this Watcher? So Derek brought the letters to his priest, and the priest then came to bless the house. So eventually they decided that they needed to sell this house. Like, they just couldn't deal with it anymore. It was just such a, giving them so much anxiety. They didn't know if this person was going to come in and kill them. But as they had the house up for sale, there were so many rumors about the Watcher, and all of this stuff was coming out, and people didn't want to buy the house. They were freaked out by it. And the house did finally sell eventually. So Derek and Maria were free from this whole madness. But that is one of the creepiest stories that I've ever read about. And I also saw that they're making a TV series or a movie based off of the house and the Watcher. So that's going to be really interesting. And that was announced this year. So with Naomi Watts, I believe. So that's going to be really cool if that's true. I definitely want to watch that. I mean, what would you guys do in that situation? That is traumatizing. And you'd be scared for the rest of your life, I feel like, unless they actually found the person, right? But just finally moving on from that home and then moving into the next home, like you would just be so cautious, and just knowing that this individual or individuals know who you are, and they know a bunch of information about your kids and what you talk about and their nicknames. And I think that is the most alarming. And the young blood comments, like, what is up with that? It's just so messed up. But oh my God, I just got chills all over me. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, you rock my world. In the song lyrics, Michael Jackson. Hashtag team Britty44. Hashtag both for the friends. Hey. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.